गोविन्ददेशिकम् उपास्य शिराय भक्त्यां तस्मिन् स्थिते निजमाहिं निविदेहमुक्त्याम् अद्वैत्यभाष्यम् उपकल्पदिशो विजीत्यां काञ्चीपुरे स्थितम् अवापसा शङ्कराय शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतं वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. It gives me great pleasure to associate myself with this pleasant and solemn function organized this evening to commemorate a milestone that has been reached by one of the tallest saints of our country. An occasion like this brings along with it joy, mirth and glee, and of course, nostalgia down the memory lane as to how an ordinary boy from an obscure village, Irulniki in Tamil Nadu, the very word literally means dispelling darkness. And that is what the sage graduated to in his later years, to dispel darkness from our minds. Was converted into a sage extraordinary by that God who walked this earth in the 20th century, Pujya Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Swamigal, the 68th Acharya of the venerated Kamakoti Peetham. During the century-long sojourn of the sage of Kanchi in this universe, he threaded the length and breadth of this country, spreading goodwill and compassion. Like the lighthouse which beats no gong and sounds no drum, and yet to the mariner in the distant sea experiences friendly light, so was the sage of Kanchi, who radiated his blessings all around during his 100 years. We should be eternally grateful to the sage of Kanchi for all that he did to mankind. But if singularly there is one reason for which we should perpetually remember him, it is because of his anointing, Pujya Sri Jayendra Saraswati Swamiji as the 69th Shankaracharya of the Kanchi Kamakoti Peetham. Our sage enjoys the unique distinction of being the only saint to have been given Diksha, Sannyasa Diksha, and anointed by the sage of Kanchi. What is there in 75 years? Lifespans have expanded because of mortality factors have been improved. It is just not in the number of years you live, but how well you live will make a difference. Raja Bhartahari says, Parivatini samsare mritako va na jayate sajataha yasya jatena yati vamsham samanitam. In this transient world, who can escape the cycle of birth and death? But that life is worthwhile, which works for the upliftment of humanity as a whole. By any standards of evaluation, be it from the spiritual plank, philosophical plank, or any plank that mankind can put it to, these 75 years have indeed been golden years in uplifting mankind. What is so special about our Swamiji, and what is it that we are celebrating today? Are we just celebrating the efflux of time? As I said, the efflux of time comes on to everyone. It comes to human beings, it comes to beasts also. Much beyond celebrating these 75 years, we are celebrating life itself. We are celebrating the life and times of the sage of our times, who epitomizes all the virtues that mankind should be endowed with. Gods have been endowed with, which we are privileged and fortunate to witness during our living times. It is this that we are celebrating today. Are we celebrating his parikrama, his digvijayas, his yatras? Of the 1,000,000 kilometers he has traversed by foot 3 times from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, from Rameshwaram to the distant Pashupatinath in Nepal, or his parikrama to Manasarovar, being the only saint after Adi Shankara, the Shankaracharya, to have visited Manasarovar, and possibly the only saint which privilege even Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya did not had, to have the Chaturmasya Sankalparvata performed in Manasarovar, or his parikrama to Amarnath, or to Leh, or to that, such is the power of his presence that when he visited Dhaka to have darshan of Dhakeshwari, the road leading to Dhakeshwari temple in a Muslim-dominated country was named as Jayendra Arch. We are celebrating all these today. Unmindful of the stress and the strain that comes along with age, he has been undertaking this yatra basically to reach out to people. If ever there is an outstanding element in our sage, it is ability to be at the doorsteps of the devotees. In a world which has been dominated by conflicts, reasons and trifles, in a world where people have to engage themselves from morning till evening to take care of their stomach, and the cost factor that comes to all of us, it is impossible for the ordinary masses to even dream of a glance, leave alone a darshan. To those masses, he is at their doorsteps. They don't have to reach out to him to take his darshan. That is the greatness of the sage that we are celebrating today. In Marathi we say, Kelyane deshatana pandita maitri sabeta sanchar, shastra grantha vilochana manuja, chaturya yete sefar. When an ordinary person travels, he gains in knowledge, he gains in experience of the world. But when a saint travels, not only does the saint gain the experience of travel, but he also radiates his blessings to the people whom he sees. And therefore, people are doubly blessed by a sage who traverses this earth. His passion, his compassion for the ordinary masses, the infirm, the poor, the weak, is to be seen to be believed. The yatras that he undertakes are not ritualistic. Of course, a dominant part of Kamakoti Pitam's parampara is worship of Chandramaulishvara. But this sage has redefined all that, much beyond the worship of Chandramaulishvara. Manava Seva is Mahesha Seva. If we were to come to a distant village, it is just not to give darshan to people. The first thing that engages his attention is to find out what is lacking in that village, what people are suffering in those villages, what is it that is to be done to abate the problems of the villagers. And quickly he networks, connects himself to his devotees in the rest of the country and brings succor and relief to the people over there. Just by way of illustration, I can tell you, in Rudraprayag, when you go, we go basically for a pilgrimage. And in Rathura, when he went, he found out that there is a strange mental sickness that grips that atmosphere in Rathura. What came not only as darshan to the people of Rathura was an hospital for mental sickness. This is the greatness of the Guru that we are celebrating today. If at all there is something which has grown in this country over this few years in this Kali Yuga, it is the tribe of saints. There is no legislation to control the saffron robes that comes in. Masquerading under the saffron robe are those people who test the gullible public of their faith in the Lord himself. Kushwant Singh once jocularly said, speaking about saints, Bas Ram Naam Japna, Chelo ka Maal Apna. Recite Ramanama and appropriate the wealth of the devotees. That was the description of the Pakandis of our times. In such a committee of saints, our sage shines. Ekas Chandra Tamohanti Nacha Tasa Ganani Cha. There are countless number of stars in the sky. They don't dispel darkness. It is that single moon, that full moon that dispels darkness. Unlike that full moon, he shines in the firmament of saints, dispelling the ignorance that seems to have engripped all of us. As I told you, one of the greatest convictions the saint has, unlike most other saints, that he believes that human beings are all the same. They are born of the same creation of the same Lord. Therefore, there can never be distinctions based on caste, creed, or community. Adi Shankara experienced Chandala on the banks of Ganges in Varanasi, and then Manisha Panchakam came. The Panchakam, which describes the qualities of a Guru, of those 5 qualities of a Guru in the 5 Ashtakams, Panchakams that he gave, 100% of all that he said can be seen in our Guru. Over these years, he has redefined the monastery itself and the role of a monk itself. Basavanna, the legendary poet of Karnataka, once crying to the Lord, he said, "O Lord Shiva, rich people build temples for you. What is it that a poor man like me can do?" Basavanna regains strength and then says, "O Lord, my body itself is a temple for you. My legs the pillars, my torso the shrine, my head the golden pinnacle. Things standing shall fall, the moving shall ever remain." Basavanna beautifully described that there is divinity in every person. It is this divinity in mankind that brings out the goodness or the badness in a person To the extent that we bring out this divinity, we find people to be good. This is the mission that the sage has adopted all during these 75 years, to bring out the goodness in people. Thiruvalluvar says in Thirukural, Pirapokkum ella uyirukkum Shirappova Seidozhir Vetrumayan. All of us are born equal. There can never be distinctions based on anything. If at all there are distinctions, they are based on the accomplishments of the person. And it is this need to accomplish in life so that we can realize the purpose of our life, so that the purpose for which we have been brought into this earth, Jantunam Narajanmam Durlabham, to be born as a human being is extremely difficult. And if we dare to waste this, Manushya Rupena Mrigascharanti, if we were to walk like animals on the streets, there will be no difference between men and animals. It is this greatness in people that has to be brought out that the sage has been traversing all these 75 years to make people accept the reality of Sanatana Dharma, understand life, and move forward to spread the reservoir of goodness all around. On an occasion like this, what is it that we devotees and astikas can do to the saint? He needs only 2 saffron robes to carry on. Not your money, not your publicity, not all that you say would appeal to the saint. Sant Kabir once said in one of its couplets, Dukh mein samiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi. Sukh mein jab samiran kare, dukh kare na koi. People remember God and Godmen only in times of adversity. They do not remember Him at times of prosperity and well-being. If ever we are to remember God and Godmen in times of prosperity, then this dukkha will go out of our lives. So the least that we can do as a tribute on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the Guru is to remember him, is to remember the good deeds that he has done for us, is to espouse the causes that were dear to him, that are dear to him, of the missions that he has taken all through his life, of the various social initiatives that he has taken, support them, strengthen them, put a lending hand to take them forward, so that this country can emerge as one of the strongest nations in the world. But we all failed on the 11th of November 2004. When the Festival of Lights descended onto this nation, when light was spread all around, darkness descended onto the Kanchi Kamakoti Pitam. Each one of us failed in our responsibility to uphold dharma that has been taught to us by our Guru. Only a banana republic can bring out what has come on, but with great dignity he has borne all this. I am sure the Jagannatha, the senior sage, always used to say that this day shall also pass, and that day is passing. I am sure that Diwali will come again, when we shall atone the sins that we had committed. Not only in the Acharyas, but on this venerated Peetham with 2,500 years of living history. The only way we can redeem ourselves is to follow his footsteps, is to guide ourselves by the glory of the great Matam that he is heading today, and to spread the virtues of Sanatana Dharma, to draw a leaf out of life of nobility, of saints like him, and make our own life sublime. Whenever we think of why gurus like him descend onto this earth, it comes out very clearly that they are not here to make a living. They are not even here to pursue a profession, if monkhood were to be a profession. Anavaptam avaptavyam nate kinchana vidyate lokanugra evaika etestu janma karmana. Lokanugraham. If at all there is one thing, it is lokanugraham, and that is what the sage has been doing all his life. May the Jagannatha Kamakoti Kamakshi shed her grace on him, Jivet Sharata Shatam. May he live 100 years so that we will all be blessed, we will all be guided, we will make our life sublime. Thank you and God bless you all.